welcome you into the Small Ball Podcast alongside Christian Dennis and Trevor Mikulin. I'm Scott Ayers. Fellas, another week of the NBA season, and we are quickly approaching Thanksgiving. It's gobble season, boys.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, y'all.
What are you guys thankful for?
I'm thankful for the pod. A creative outlet to where we can talk basketball and people respect us for it.
All the respect.
That's really, actually, so Christian and I, we help the youth.
Yeah.
And our most genius idea I think we've ever had.
We all help the youth.
We all help the youth.
We're pro-youth.
We're pro-youth.
And the genius idea.
We've been plugging our podcast to the youth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we get viewership up?
Get the kids hooked on it,
Yes.
and then it'll just go viral.
Spread like wildfire.
That's good. I'll start talking to my kids about it.
Yeah.
That's why all the kids love LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Why?
Because LaMelo Ball...
Highlights.
He's big online. He's big online.
I see.
Because the kids love him.
Yeah.
So we just had to get loved by the children. By the kids.
Yeah. It's like what Disney does. It's what,
Yes.
like scumbag, like fast food people do. They cater to kids.
They cater to kids. The prank channels.
Yes.
Cater to kids.
Yeah.
So we're going to cater to kids.
This is now a
A kids show.
basketball podcast.
Yeah, that's good. All right. New intro for kids. Go, Scott.
Hey, hey, hey.
Okay, Fat Albert.
I just thought of that. What'd you guys think?
That's good.
Yeah, it's workshop.
Yeah, we'll workshop it. But this is, I mean, that catches their attention. It's easy. Trev, what are you thankful for?
Oh, man. You know what? I'm thankful for the Sacramento Kings.
Whoa.
You want to know why?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know how you could be thankful for them, but go ahead.
I'm thankful that they keep me grounded. They keep me grounded.
Yeah.
They haven't been good in the last couple weeks.
They've struggled.
They've struggled big time. And if it weren't for them, I would be on cloud 9, which
Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm not down to do that. I got to stay grounded.
No, that's a good point. You know, it's like if the Sacramento Kings were good, like who knows, they could be like our idols, and we
Right.
should not have earthly idols.
That's right.
I can't say the same. Nikola Jokic is an earthly idol. I recognize that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thankful for him. I say it a couple times on this pod. It's like every other episode, but he really has changed my life.
You literally the meme of like you've saved my life. He's like, I'm literally Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, one of my coworkers today is like, I had my headphones in. He's like, "Hey, are you in a meeting right now?" I was like, "I'm just watching a Jokic highlight video. Don't worry about it." That was a real thing that happened today. So awesome. He's changed my life. I'm thankful for Jokic.
It's good, man.
Gosh.
Also, shout out Crumble Cookie. I'm thankful for them too.
Shout out sponsor of the show.
Sponsor the show today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crumble Cookie.
Yeah.
Go get your cookies.
Big Utah company.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Started in Utah.
Salt Lake?
Yeah. Let's for the sake of the show. Yeah. Big Jazz supporters.
It's good.
That's good. All right. Let's talk about teams that we're gobbling up.
Let's talk about it.
And I've got an unconventional one. So, Christian, I want to start with you. Who are you gobbling up right now?
Over this past week, I've been gobbling up the Milwaukee Bucks, a team that we just like to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, last week we're talking about what the buck is going on.
Yep.
And this week they're on like a 3-game win streak. Chris Middleton's coming back. There's 5th seed in the East right now. Things are turning up. So could we possibly see Milwaukee turning a page and finally getting stuff together? I don't know. But at least so far it's good. At least the right direction.
And here's the thing with the East. Because the East is so bad, even with the start they had, even with the start that the Sixers have had, there's no point in blowing it up because really, there's 2 teams you have to beat. Cleveland and, there's a dog that was running around. You've got to beat Cleveland and Boston. If you think you have a chance against those teams, there's no point in blowing it up. Milwaukee, I think, obviously says, hey, we have Giannis, who's the second best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
This team is going to turn around, and they've turned around the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and sorry, I said 3-game win streak. I meant
5.
4.
Oh, 5.
And I said 5th seed, and they're actually the 6th seed. It's crazy that they're the 6th seed and they have a losing record. They're
terrible.
8-9 right now, but
That's the
Giannis
East.
is literally playing like an MVP. It's either Jokic or it's Giannis right now for MVP talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm going to stay in the East. And this is a different kind of vision. I've been kind of gobbling the Toronto Raptors. Ooh. The Raptors, but they stink. This is everything you want in a tanking team. Competitive in just about all of your games, but losing them. And a lot of their games, it's like kind of late game execution just isn't really there. But I feel like that's okay. Like they want to lose. If there's any draft to lose, this is a draft. But they're also getting great production out of guys like R.J. Barrett. Ochai Agbaji, who I thought his career was done. Yeah. He's been great in Toronto. On top of that, Jakob Poeltl is proving he's really a top 7 center in the NBA. Like
Davion
Grady
Mitchell's Dick.
2 more guys that have been like surprisingly great this season. And so if you're a Toronto fan, yes, it sucks to lose, but you look at it and you're like, hey, I can actually see a vision. And obviously we didn't even mention Scotty Barnes, who's been hurt. Yeah. But he's an all-pro kind of hurt.
Yeah. Like all year too. So it's like this really is the best case scenario. Like you don't want to win these meaningless games. You just want to be scrappy and be in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. RJ Barrett's averaging about 24 points per game.
He's been awesome.
He has been what people thought he was.
Yeah.
Right? So that's huge for them.
Maple Jordan.
I got a team.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not expect this.
I didn't either.
Houston, we have liftoff.
Whoa.
The Houston Rockets. They've been fun to watch.
Wow.
Came off, they were 2-2 last week in a difficult West. They played the Bucks and lost. But they've been an interesting team with all of the pieces we've talked about, and 2 guys that have emerged as 2 of their best young pieces. Ooh, they call them the Terror Twins.
Ooh.
Yeah, Tari Eason and Amen Thompson.
Man.
Those 2. And they get that nickname not from the offensive end, the defensive end. 2 wings that are young and are just in every passing lane. On-ball defense is amazing. They both can protect the rim. Those 2 have been awesome. And, the Rockets are a tough team.
They are. They're, sitting at 3rd in the West right now.
Yeah.
And it's just like they have so many guys on their team that if they end up getting a guy who is a top, 10 NBA talent, they can make some good noise. They have a solid team around them.
And if I'm Houston, I'm looking at, all of the guys you have. You have Cam Whitmore.
Yeah.
Can you get that toy out of here? Or they can definitely hear that.
They for sure can.
Here.
Yeah. No, you go on.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
We got the Rockets. The Rockets, Scott.
Yes.
They have so many pieces they can move. Cam Whitmore.
Yeah.
Right? I'm looking at Jabari Smith Jr., another young piece that hasn't been what they thought he was, but still has a lot of trade value.
Yep.
They can do a ton of things.
I was going to mention Amen Thompson and Tari Eason. This was an interesting year going into it because they had so many guys in the front court, and those 2 just proved like, hey, no, we're actually better than anything else that you have. Every time I watch Amen Thompson, it's like he's incredible. Like they've just got a lot of great assets, and you mentioned assets that they can move. We had talked in the past like, hey, there's some teams out in the East. I think the East is so bad that some teams are just going to hold on to their guys.
Let me pose
Fred. Fred sucks.
Yeah.
Trade him.
Fred is a terror to the development of the
True.
Youth. Let me propose a random trade, or at least a player that they could trade for.
I like this.
Yeah.
All right. If you're the Houston Rockets, are you looking at the Pelicans and thinking about taking a swing on Zion?
Who am I giving up?
I wouldn't swing on Zion right now. Maybe if the Pelicans have a lower value on him and they're like, hey, we just need to get rid of him. But if they're asking for a lot, I would not touch him right now. If I have to give up some of the young assets I really love. If it's Jabari Smith, ship him. Bring on Zion. If it's Cam Whitmore, ship him. But if it's like, hey, some of these starters, Zion just feels like a net negative right now just because of his health.
So you wouldn't do like a Jalen Green and Jabari Smith Jr. to take a swing on Zion?
I wouldn't.
I don't think
I wouldn't because the fit's not even good in Houston. Zion needs shooters around him. Houston doesn't have that. So why would they try and make that work? You have to find a team. For Zion to work, you need to have 4 shooters around him. And he needs to be the primary guy. You can have a point guard, but he needs to be the one that when you're running your sets, everything's through him. And you have shooters that he can just splash to. And Pelicans haven't done that. Yeah. They have Brandon Ingram out there with him, and it just hasn't looked good. Yeah.
I'm just curious of what kind of player the Rockets are going to eventually go after.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. That's a who knows? Lowry, maybe? Lowry Markkanen's going to probably be made available around deadline time. Or you know what? He's not eligible because of his extension.
Yeah. So it'd be a summer thing.
Right. Interesting.
It's interesting.
Yep.
Is there 3 great teams that we're gobbling up?
We're gobbling them up.
Gobble. Well, you mentioned a team earlier that you're thankful for.
Yeah.
And that's the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Last night, I came home. I was helping plan my wedding, as one does. I come home, I look at the screen, and I see a score that just shocked me. And it was the Brooklyn Nets winning on the road in Sacramento. The Kings had a great start to the year, but it feels like, guys, they have maybe not fallen off a cliff, but the car is teetering. So I'm just going to leave this time for you two to share a little bit about what the hell's going on in Sacramento.
Dude, the Sacramento Kings, anytime you have expectations for them, you're going to get let down. Like 2 years ago when they were awesome, I had no expectations for them. I did not expect them to be good. And then they were good. It was great. And this year, we get DeMar DeRozan, and I'm expecting them to be a top 6 team in the West, and they just have not played to that level. And I think a large part of it is just no one can make a shot. All of our shooters who have been historically like good shooters, some even 40% shooters, are like shooting like 20%. And it's just like ridiculous because they're getting these open shots and they're just like, there's just no confidence. There's just, I just don't understand like why these guys who are NBA players, like what's the coaching staff doing? What's the front office doing? Like they should be encouraging these guys, like sports psychology, like fix these guys mentally. Cause right now they're just,
it's not even their 3-point percentage, it's their 3-point percentage on open looks.
Yeah.
Wide open shots. Like that they have statistics now where they can look at that and the guys are shooting like 20, 30%. 20s. It has been terrible. And I think that this is something that will pass. Like I don't expect Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk. I don't expect these guys to be in the 20s. Yeah. I expect those guys to get up to mid-upper 30s by the end of the year. I think part of it, you got guys going in and out. DeMar was out for a bit. We got Malik Monk out. He's coming back tonight. It's a new dynamic with DeMar being in there. That switches things up drastically for your team. We shoot the most mid-range shots now with DeMar DeRozan. We make the most mid-range shots of any team. But still, that's a new thing, and the team's still ironing out all these. Adjust. Yeah, they're trying to adjust to something new, so I'm not jumping off a cliff yet. I mean, games like last night really suck. Against the Brooklyn Nets? Come on now. What are we doing? Games against the Clippers, that game was terrible. They scored 29 points in one half. Yeah, just terrible stuff like that. That really just demoralizes nights, but I don't think it's something that they can't come back from. Sacramento will be fine. I have faith.
Yeah, I think that's an important outlook to have early on in a season is, hey, some of these things will even out, and, you have to believe in – I think, Christian, you were telling me, like, Trey Lyles and some of these guys, it's like literally 20-something% on open threes. Keegan Murray's like 29%.
See, I've seen a lot of Kings fans just start bagging on Keegan, trade him, all this, that. To me, I'm like, this is the same dude who shot 12 of 13 in one game from 3. Yeah. And I'm not concerned. Keegan will be fine.
Shooters figure it out.
They do.
That's just kind of how it rolls. And
I do have to admit though, last night's game, Keegan was awesome.
Yeah,
he wasn't shooting the ball super well, but that was the most aggressive that I've ever seen him play. And it's like the dude was dunking the ball.
Yeah.
Like if you watch Keegan Murray, he is very timid. He does not go and try to yam on someone. He was trying to catch bodies last night. It's like that's the type of player that we need to see him be when he's not making those 3-pointers.
Yeah. Well, let's move over to your Nuggets.
Yeah, the Nuggets. And you bring up Keegan Murray because there's a player that I think he could be comparable to, and that's Michael Porter Jr. Because Mike, for a long part of his career, was pretty timid. He had a bad back, but he's been sensational for the Denver Nuggets this year. He's been, in my opinion, the number 2 option for the Nuggets.
Wow.
And should be the number 2 option moving forward. He plays extremely efficient, and guess what? He's up to over 3 assists per game.
Whoa.
Playmaker.
Facilitator.
I have a podcast.
Hello. But yeah, so I feel like Mike's been great. But the Nuggets, yeah, let's talk about Denver because they've started to play a little bit better than how they started the year. They obviously struggled a little bit last week. But Jokic, MVP pace right now. But the most satisfying thing, Michael Malone and the Denver Nuggets go on the road and win their 13th out of 14 tries against the LA Lakers.
That's all you could ask for, right?
Yeah.
Is like there's always one game on or multiple games on the schedule that's like you circle and like you got to win this game.
You gotta win
against the Lakers.
You've got to win LA.
Yeah, the best part about the Nuggets is that your floor is always going to be so high with Jokic.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of like, can the guys around you play well? And, seeing KCP gone, signing Russell Westbrook, a lot of the media was like, oh, there goes Denver. Denver's like failing again. And it's just like seeing the young players, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, Christian Brown, really take that step and have been playing really well has been a really positive sign. And I can imagine as a Nuggets fan, you're reading all this stuff about over the summer, like these guys are idiots. Like let them
For sure.
at least go out there and play. And they're actually performing. Christian Brown is better than KCP.
He is by a mile. He's averaging 16 points per game on 43% shooting from 3.
People forget that Christian Brown was a Finals MVP candidate.
He was number 4.
He was
People
number 4.
forget.
People forget that.
They don't talk about that.
They
They
don't
don't
talk
talk
about
about
that.
it, except for us.
Yeah.
Except for us.
Well, and how about Russell Westbrook?
Amazing.
I mean, his turnaround, because after the first 2 games, we saw it in our fantasy basketball group chat. We saw it everywhere online. Oh, this guy's going to ruin another organization. He's probably the best best player to give Jokic entry passes. Like his 2-man game with Jokic has been phenomenal to watch, and it has happened over the course of like 12 games. The only thing it makes me think is, man, I wish Denver had a chance to get him sooner because he's filled this Bruce Brown role where, you know what, he's chaotic, but it's almost a fun chaos. Defensively, he's better than any guard Denver has had. A point guard, KCP's obviously a great defender, so is Christian Brown. But, yeah, he's been awesome. There's been one player on the Denver Nuggets that has frustrated me more than anyone else, and that's Jamal Murray.
Welcome to my side.
Yeah. I mean,
Small ball lore.
small ball. That's a small ball lore poll. But he's been terrible for what he just got paid. And I think that's going to be the biggest. There's still obviously other question marks. The biggest question mark, though, is what's happening with Jamal right now. Is this his typical early season slump? Or is this all bleeding over from the playoffs, Olympics, and now current day? Because he's looked bad. And Trevor and I were watching a game a couple nights ago that Denver lost against Dallas. They come back. Jamal plays horrible defensively. He plays horrible offensively late game, and Denver loses. And so it's like, hey, you're supposed to be the number 2 guy. And right now there's a couple guys I'd rather take the shot over you and be in the game playing defense over you, which that's a huge problem if you're supposed to be this max contract player.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if is he just like tired? Like, I mean, he kind of came off the injury and then he's just been playing nonstop since. So it's like,
Does he not condition?
yeah,
To me, Jamal Murray is just not. He's not a star.
I thought,
What he is he's a guy who elevates his game when he really needs to. Like in the playoffs. I'm sure when the playoffs roll around, Jamal's going to have a couple moments. He'll have a couple games. That's my opinion, and that's always been it, where it's like he's not really a regular season guy, but he elevates it in the playoffs.
He always elevates from like February until April.
Yeah, so to me, yeah, but this is definitely the worst we've seen.
This is the
worst we've seen.
Because
I'm not saying he's been like this always.
Because and then in that playoff run, he was phenomenal the entire playoffs, and it's like, okay, he's gonna now take that next step as a player because he's only 24 on that or 25 in that run. And he was actually pretty good at end of last year, but playoffs, he was horrible. Olympics, he was horrible. He's horrible right now. Like, he's super inefficient, can't hit from deep, can't play defense, doesn't have a burst at the rim. I don't know what he's supposed to do right now, but he's got to lock in.
I don't even know what kind of upgrades you could even get.
Harsh words, man, to your boy.
I love Jamal, but it's like, man.
Wake up.
You just got a max contract. Like, we expect the best out of you. Now, there's Nuggets fans that have gone way too far.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm not in that crowd, but I'm gonna hold him accountable.
Do it, Scott.
I'm gonna hold you accountable, Jamal Murray.
That's tough love.
Tough love, but I do love you. Yeah, who do you upgrade? Zach LaVine?
Yeah, I mean, he's available.
But like at the same time, like is he that much better?
Yeah.
I mean, like contract wise,
yes.
they get paid the same, but
The Bulls wouldn't want.
with Zach LaVine, he has to completely learn how to play with Jokic. Where it's like you can always kind of rely on, or at least look back on like Jamal and Jokic.
Their two-man
their
games
chemistry
really great.
is insane. So it's just that learning process would
Is
probably
it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you almost would be like, well, maybe the season's a wash unless you start Russ. Hello. Yeah, I don't know what you get from Jamal. You have to believe in him and that it works out.
Yeah. At this point, you can't really move on from him.
No. Yeah. No. That's miserable. But I believe they're my finals pick.
They are. Don't
over
get
Boston.
Don't get off that hill.
I believe. Let's talk about one more team, the
Okay.
New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
DeJounte and CJ are coming back. Zion's still out.
Till forever.
Till forever.
They don't know.
Probably after Thanksgiving.
This is a team. yeah. He's like, all right, now I'm good.
Let the food digest.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that footage of him with a empty syrup bottle, and then the chef was just bringing them food?
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like some live stream. I'm like, bro,
Zion.
first of all, put a shirt on, please. You're on live stream. People are gonna roast you.
Zion.
Then he's wearing a hoodie in this interview recently. It's like 80 degrees in New Orleans. People are like, he ain't wearing that hoodie because it's cold. He's covering up. My boy's back to big.
Zion. I love Zion. I love Zion.
We want to see him. We want to see him succeed.
He was having issues online at one point. We told him, hey, get Covenant Eyes.
We did.
Now we need to get him on a weight loss plan.
We do.
So,
Ozempic?
any ideas? That's like a pill that he takes.
Yeah. It's more common with people with diabetes, but apparently anyone can take it.
Okay, so maybe we get him on Ozempic.
Yes,
we get him on a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And we can have him start going to Vasa is a gym in Arizona. They got the Red Studio Red.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like Zumba class type thing.
Nice.
We'll get Zion at Studio Red. Start getting back to
Taking
shape.
some Zumba classes, that's tough. That would be good for him.
That would
be
be
good.
really good.
Yeah,
Well, and
Do you think he has rhythm?
he's got rhythm.
I bet you he does.
Yeah, so I don't know, guys. With Zion being out, this is a podcast too. We believed in the Pelicans. Like, if you go back a couple years ago, we were like, this team is finally figuring it out.
Yeah.
They never figured it out.
This has the worst luck by any NBA team by far. Like, I know New Orleans is an interesting place. A lot of people talk about like some voodoo witchcraft. Whoever has a hex on them, they're really screwing with
It's
the
a
Pelicans.
strong hex. Strong hex.
Yeah, they have had bad luck. They also, to me, it's the pairing of BI and Zion. It's just not a good pairing.
Yeah.
You got to move on from one of them. And at this point, I don't think anyone's going to trade for Zion. So it's BI. Maybe that's the guy that fits with the Rockets. Who knows? But you got to surround Zion with shooters. I like DeJounte being his point guard, and then go get a bunch of shooters.
Yeah.
Trade BI. yeah, I just it's tough. It is exciting that DeJounte's coming back. I think he's coming back into a role that looks more like his role with San Antonio when he was at his peak. Right before he got traded, that dude was stellar defensively, offensively, facilitating. And then he goes to a team where he's not the main facilitator. You take him out of that role, and he struggled. He had some good moments, but you put him back in a role where he's the main guy facilitating, and I think that we're going to see DeJounte at his best in New Orleans. So that's exciting. You get one of your guys back.
Yeah, and CJ's going to help a lot.
CJ's still so good.
Your two starting guards being out, that's just really tough to deal with. And you still got guys like Herb Jones that still need to come back.
Alvarado's hurt.
Yeah, it's just like they just had the worst injury luck I've ever seen with an NBA team.
Yeah. And here's the thing. When they do come back, they're still going to stink.
Yeah, probably. Because they're gonna be steps behind.
Yeah, they're too many steps behind, and the West is just too good. I want the Pelicans to be good. I just don't think they will be.
Okay. It's a fair take.
Fair take. All right. Very fair. Well, another great pod. We got to talk about all of our teams today.
We did. It's a Thanksgiving miracle.
Yeah, literally. We never get to talk about our teams.
No.
Well, for Trevor Macon and Christian Harris, I'm Scott Harris, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving and a hopeful New Year.
We're just going to skip over Christmas.
You want to run that back?
Yeah, let me.
I like the Thanksgiving tossing, though. I'm not cutting it out, by the way.
Yeah, no, don't cut that out. All right. For Trevor Macon and Christian Harris, I'm Scott Harris, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving, a wonderful Christmas, and a hopeful New Year's.
Gobble, gobble.